All right. Feeney Talks with Friends, episode 103. We're at a wonderful spot. How you doing? What's up, Dave?
How you doing? Welcome to my crib.
Yeah, we're at GOLFTEC on New Britain Avenue. This is an amazing place. My name is Eric Feeney, founder and president of Friends of Feeney. I use this podcast, Feeney Talks with Friends, and I talk to wonderful people in the community that are doing great things. And you've been in the community for how many years now?
We're coming up. This is our 7-year anniversary, actually. So
today's a special day, right?
Today is a special day. We've made it 7 years.
7 years.
Yep.
And I told you I had a surprise. So we're going to get going right away with the surprise. Thank you to my friends at Elmwood Pastry. Wonderful people at Elmwood Pastry. They're right around the corner. They're practically your neighbors. Congratulations on 7 years. We got some cake.
That's great.
Also a special day. I heard it's Dad's birthday.
It is. It's my dad's birthday,
Happy
71.
Happy birthday, Bill. This is for you, too. I knew that. No, I wish I did, but congratulations. I don't know if we'll get into this later, but you ever go to Elmwood Pastry?
I go there all the time. That's my go-to.
Right.
Place is awesome.
Check out that cake.
That is an awesome cake.
My guy, Big Rich, did that, the owner, this morning. I called around 9 a.m., but, being a good friend that he is, he hooked it up.
Thank you so much to Elmwood Pastry.
Years. What's the special to keep you going for 7 years? How'd you do it? What's the trick?
So I think the trick is a combination of teaching good lessons, good customer service, and great technology.
Nice.
And just utilizing all of those the best we can. So when someone walks in, we recognize them, treat them like one of our friends, one of your favorite words. Just make sure that they have everything that they can when they come here. So whether they're practicing, taking a lesson, getting a club fitting, just looking for information, someone is kind of talking to them right away. So
Very
just
cool.
that attention.
Man, yeah, jumped the gun. I usually do West Hartford Lock as a sponsor, and we do 3 keys. So you gave us your 3 keys. Technology.
Teaching great lessons. And great customer service.
Yeah, being a good friend. And I am a student of yours, and I have to commend you. You are a wonderful teacher.
Thank you.
And I've been a teacher for 20 years. Greatest job in the world. So, but you never went to teaching school. So how did you get that skill to motivate, to find errors, to correct in a polite and respectful way? How'd you do that?
I think I've been really lucky in my life to have good mentors. I think it starts with my mom and dad, not because they're here, but just because, they set a good example of when you don't know what you're doing, you ask somebody who knows better. My dad was great at understanding what his limitations were on teaching sports. And then once he knew he was done, he brought me to a professional. So I think just knowing what you're good at and what you're not so good at, and then getting people to help you with what you're not good at. Yeah. Having those mentors really just show me along the way, ask questions, make sure you work hard. I got to play a lot of really good sports when I was younger. West Hartford gives you those opportunities. I had a great travel coach who had us running 2 miles before practice when we were 8 years old. So, I think I had great examples of those and just learned along the way to kind of add my own tools and elements to it.
Yeah, so good experience, good role models. You were born and raised in West Hartford.
I was.
And now you work in West Hartford.
I was. I'm a boomerang.
Nice. Went off to college, right, and came back?
I did. I went to Florida State University, so I wanted to try the warm weather for a little while as a golfer, and realized that the hot weather was just as bad as our cold weather up here, and you can't really play golf that much. So I really missed having the seasons, and this community that we had in West Hartford was just pulling me back, so I wanted to come back.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, you went to Florida State, now you're back. And GOLFTEC, why New Britain Ave, why West Hartford? 7 years ago, what happened? How did that move happen?
Yeah, so I was working for GOLFTEC in Massachusetts. So I worked at one of their headquarters or corporate centers, and loved the business, and always wanted to come back to West Hartford and find a way to do it and have my own teaching academy.
Okay.
So when GOLFTEC offered the franchise, I knew this area would be great. So in West Hartford, we were looking for the best location. We knew Pepe's Pizza was such a hot spot, and this location was open, and we decided to capitalize on it. We knew we were close to the highway, and we just wanted to be close to the center of commerce. So it was a great location for us.
No, very cool. Yeah, you're about 2 minutes away from my house driving. I walk to Elmwood Pastry every Saturday, so I see you guys. I saw your buddy, shaved head, shaved chin strap. I forgot his name, but he works here. I see him at Elmwood Pastry.
Kevin?
Kevin. Sorry, Kevin. No, I love the haircut, love the beard, Kevin, but I see him at Elmwood Pastry. I've never seen you there, though.
I've been.
Do you work on Saturdays?
I do not. I'm not there
Yeah,
on Saturdays.
that's why.
I'm off Saturdays. I get
That's
a day
why.
off.
That's your only day off?
Thursdays as well.
Gotcha. How'd you pick Saturdays and Thursdays?
That was just the way that the schedule worked out, and my students have been booking out and taking lessons on the other days, so it just works out for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And over 20,000 lessons taught.
20,000 lessons.
Jeez, that's a lot of lessons.
I think it makes me a professional or an expert, right? So 20,000 half-hour lessons,
Yeah.
10,000 hours, so qualifies me to be an expert.
You got to do something for 10,000 hours to be a professional.
That's right.
That's a lot.
That's
of
what someone
lessons.
said, yeah.
And yeah, people keep coming back.
They do. Yeah, our students get better. They look at their game almost like an onion peeling layers back. So there's the can I hit the ball up in the air layer? Can I make the ball move a certain direction? And then it's can I make it go lower, go higher, curve around a tree, and just add those other elements to their game. There's always something to learn, which is really the fun part about this. And I love working with my students to help them achieve their different goals and then break through the next one.
Yeah. No, you have the progress, like incremental growth.
Exactly.
My first lesson, there were maybe 10 things wrong, maybe 20, but you focused on a few to get me going in the right direction. So, right, is that part of the strategy?
It is. I mean, people can only handle so many changes at once. So even though you want to try to help them and fix everything at one time, you just realize there's a person in front of you and they would get overwhelmed with all the information that you're trying to give them. So try to simplify it to the first thing that they need to fix and the most important thing. And then once they own that, then they can move on to something different. So we really try to break it apart and make sure they're not overwhelmed.
Yeah. And then you mentioned technology. I mean, I'm a third grade teacher, so it's going to be way over my head, but let's talk about the technology. Where is it from? How high tech is it?
Yeah.
Is it from NASA? Like, where is it from?
It might be. No, so our technology has evolved over the years. Our basis for teaching has always been fact-based. So we didn't want to guess. We didn't want to give our opinions. We wanted to measure. So we used to harness the players in with a vest and a belt and actually captured their motion data with those two sensors. So there was one on the back, one on the lower back. And we measured their turns, tilts, bends like we were talking about in your lessons.
Yep.
But we had to have that little
was
strap
that in our
on.
7-year span of being here?
It was.
Oh,
yep.
wow. Okay.
So, and then COVID, our buddy COVID came and kind of nixed any sort of interaction with people. So we were teaching a lot without any sort of motion measurement data, just using the video. And then GOLFTEC came up with OptiMotion. So OptiMotion is an optically measured motion measurement system. So we don't have to harness anything on you, no markers, and it gives us the same feedback. So the player is more comfortable, we get more data points so we can see what's going on, and it gives us all of those numbers that we're familiar with. So we're going back to measuring and not guessing.
Very cool to see on the screen. You're like, your arm dipped 19 degrees, but the pro over here dips 25. So that helps a visual.
Exactly.
Golf is very visual.
It is.
For me, anyway. Everyone's a different learner. Some people audio learners, visual learners, tactile. They want to do it kinesthetic. So, no, and it has. I think you have something for everyone because the verbal cues or the video cue is really great. Do you have a favorite?
Way to teach?
Yeah.
Ooh, I think visual is probably the best way to teach. Or for me, I like to show the visuals. I think people really understand the images that they're seeing. They can see their elbow bent in a certain place, and then they see the pros have a straight arm, and they immediately recognize what they're doing wrong and can start to make that adjustment themselves. So I think seeing it is the biggest help.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And the video, you press the button to watch your swing back. I do that a lot too. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, you're talking about our practice system.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can come in and practice on your own. Use the video frame by frame to watch your swing on each shot. See what the ball does. See if you've done what I've asked you to do in the lessons. Just verify what you're doing.
Yeah. And the hula hoop. You never thought the hula hoop is such an important tool for learning how to swing
It's a great tool.
golf club.
It is. It's a great visual for a tilted circle, which a lot of people don't even understand they're trying to swing on. And it just helps bridge that concept right away. You can see it.
Oscillation. You know that word?
I do. Oscillation.
I just dropped
To
it
go
third
around something. Yeah.
I'm going to write that on the board tomorrow in third grade. Kids, what does oscillation mean? So we're here on 1146 New Britain Ave. Your phone number is 860-222-2229.
Exactly. A lot of twos, couple nines at the end.
860-222-2229. 22299. 5 2s and a 9. Two
Yep.
nines. That's
222
amazing. Did you guys
2299.
Did you make that number up?
We
Where'd
did
you get-
not.
you luck-
No.
Yeah.
We just got lucky. They gave it to us and said, "Do you like it?" And we were like, "Yeah, it's easy to remember."
I'm not gonna give my whole number out on the screen, but mine's 2242, which is pretty cool. But you
Must
have-
be fate.
right? 22. Yeah. Golf Tech. Episode 103. We're here. Dave is a good friend. He sponsored our golf tournament with a golf tee sign. Thank you so much. Save the date, September 14th. We're going to be at Tunxus. We did 2 years at Goodwin, but this year we're going to be at Tunxus. We're really excited. I hope you come on board again
Absolutely.
to be a tee sign.
You need a designated pro at a tee or something like that.
Okay.
We can set that up.
That someone would pay you to
Yeah,
to hit?
exactly. We hit their tee shot for them.
Okay, I like it. Maybe sponsor closest to the hole in one. We had a heckle hole. Game Day Connor from the
See,
Yard
that's-
Goats
that's
heckled. So maybe you could contrast that and you could actually give lessons or
You could be back-to-back
them.
holes, right?
Yeah.
So it could be like you get heckled on one hole and then you get coached on the next hole and
Yeah.
maybe feel better about yourself.
I like it. And maybe, all right, cool. So we had some former guests that you may know. Episode 84, Mark Moriarty. You know Mark?
I do.
How's Mark?
Mark is an awesome guy. He's just given back so much to the golfing community. You know, if you don't know who he is, he's head of the first tee in Connecticut, and he's taken on all sorts of responsibility at Goodwin Park and just really trying to grow the game any way he can. So Mark is a friend of mine, and I would do anything to help him out. So
Man, you beat me to it because I was going to say our motto is be a good friend, hold the door, pick up trash, give a compliment, be charitable. What makes Mark a good friend? But that's the second time you already beat me to my question.
He
3
is.
keys you beat me to. What makes Mark a good friend? You beat me to.
I think anybody that knows Mark would say the same thing about him.
Yeah. All right. New game. So the game is a storytelling game. Matt Dix, you guys mentioned Matt Dix. Storytelling game. First, last, best, worst. Let's do golf lessons. Your first golf lesson, if you can remember your first golf lesson, your last golf lesson, your best golf lesson, and your worst golf lesson.
Oof.
Any order, any way. It doesn't have to be your worst. It could be least favorite, you know.
Yeah, sure. So my first golf lesson, I was working at Shuttle Meadow Country Club. I think that's my first official one that was paid for. It was with a member that couldn't get the ball off the ground, and all they wanted to do was learn how to get the ball airborne. So that was a good start. I started with the basics: grip, posture, stance, alignment. That helped a little bit, but they were really moving their head a ton off the ball and not turning their shoulders a lot. So I just helped them keep their head a little more still, tilt their shoulders, and they got 1 out of 5 up in the air. So that was pretty good. I would say that was successful. They didn't complain about it, so I felt like I did a good job. So that was my first lesson.
Yeah, why is that so important, keeping that head still? You circle my head on the screen a lot.
I do.
My head's like,
I do.
I got a big head and skinny neck, so it's heavy and, it's like swinging around in the wind.
Yeah.
But keeping the head straight is very important.
Yeah. It's I want you to be self-conscious about your head. No, I'm just kidding. So the head is the center of the rotation of the body. And so as soon as that rotation starts to go back to the right, you start hitting the ground before the golf ball.
Okay.
And anyone who's played golf before knows that when you hit the ground before the ball, not good things happen.
Yep.
So we just try to teach people to keep their head as still as possible so they can have the best chance of hitting the golf ball first.
Okay. No, that's great. And then, where were we? Best first?
So that was my first.
What year was that? How long ago?
So that was 2007.
Okay.
Yep. So my last lesson was Erin. We had worked on her shoulder tilting. So that was one of those numbers you were mentioning we measure and we look at.
Yep.
So Erin, she bends her arms in her follow through because she doesn't tilt her shoulder up enough as she follows through or pull it back enough. Mm-hmm. And so we were working on just trying to create that motion of pulling the shoulder up and back at the same time to help that left arm stay straighter. And she was hitting the ball a lot better.
Would that be the drill? You put your head on the wall and kind of
You
shimmy
could.
your shoulders?
Yep. So you could put your head on the wall. What we have her doing is actually following through without any backswing, just feeling like the shoulders moving back out of the way and getting her arms to straighten out, just so her body can feel that the first time.
Okay.
And then after she knows what it feels like, try to take swings where she's trying to get to that same spot. So that's her drill. But you could put your head up against the wall. That would
Yeah.
work. Yep.
And then one was very helpful. instead of bringing the club back more. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but instead of up, I was
Correct.
doing that. You corrected me on that one. It kind of reminded me of
Absolutely.
maybe Aaron was doing the same thing as me.
Yeah, so she was trying to
And I
follow through
kinda
more
held
upright.
My instead of following through, I bring my elbows in.
Yep.
I'm a mess. We're gonna see later.
That's right.
Stick around. Spoiler alert: we're gonna get a lesson live on camera.
We're going to go in the trenches. Yep.
You're gonna see it. Feeney golfs with friends. All right, it's Feeney talks with friends, but today it's gonna be Feeney golfs with friends. Our friend Dave here is the golf instructor at GOLFTEC. Golf instructor or
We call ourselves coaches here,
coaches?
but you can call me an instructor.
Coach Dave.
Coach Dave.
What'd you study at FSU?
So I was in the professional golf management program. So I knew I wanted to be in the golf business. I didn't know what I wanted to be, but I knew I wanted to be around the game. And the golf school there was in the business school. So I have a business degree with a hospitality concentration. And I got to go play golf a lot too. So it was a really good combination for
Were
me.
you on the golf team or a club
I
team?
was
or-
I was not. No. The golf team was really talented. So they had Brooks Koepka on the team at the time. They
He's
had
alright. He's decent.
another PGA pro named Jonas Blixt, who's from Sweden. He was also on the PGA Tour. So they just had a lot of talent. And I tried to walk on, and they kind of said thank you, but no thank you. And I just did my professional golf management program. So
Very cool.
I got my PGA accreditation, or was on track for that, as well as my business degree.
So are you a golf pro?
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, so we're getting off track, but I had a firearm away.
Sure.
FSU. So we did first and last. Aaron. All right, now you're on best and worst.
All right. So my best lesson was probably a 5-year-old girl that I gave a lesson to. So it's a cool story. Her dad basically called me up and said, I think I have a daughter who would be good at golf. And I said, well, bring her in. And she came in, didn't know how to swing a club. So I gave her first evaluation, gave her a few lessons and pointers. We worked on the basics, and then I didn't see her for another year or so. So flash forward to a call from her dad that says she's qualified for this tournament over in Scotland, some international huge tournament. She's winning all these events all over the place, and she has turned a corner. And so that was a really cool moment for me to think of, wow, I made a difference in this girl's life just by showing her a few things, and now she's traveling all over the country and, hopefully has some sort of future in it.
Wow. Now, was she became your student for a while?
She's still my student, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
It wasn't just a one-time deal.
Nope.
This was
so
monthly, weekly.
so now she's coming in weekly.
Wow.
Yep.
So
So
I remember
we're
you telling me about that. Wow. That's amazing. How old is she now?
She's now 7.
7.
She's coming off a win at Pinehurst. She shot 39 on 9 holes. So
Oh,
she's
feel
on her
your-
way.
I even feel more. Does that make you feel horrible about yourself even more? Of a terrible golfer.
Yeah,
kidding.
to me it's exciting. It's
I
kind
know,
of like
I
she's
know.
won in a tournament that's bigger than anything I've ever played in. So she's already way ahead of my career, and
Yeah.
that's fun for me.
That's amazing. No, as a coach or a teacher, when you see your student go on to do great things, it's such a fulfilling moment. It's like,
is.
I had a kid go to Yale. I was like, oh, that's because of me in third grade.
Right. You had a part of that,
Right?
Yeah. Don't kid yourself.
What else? I had a kid. Just cool stories. You see, you always support them. Kid scored 1,000 points in basketball. My buddy Jordan Booker. So it was just,
You don't forget them though either, right?
yeah,
They make a mark on you.
cool. All right. What's her name?
Sophia Potvin.
Sophia. We're going to be watching you, Sophia. Best of luck. Get her some Feeney swag. We got to get her out there golfing with a Feeney
Absolutely.
hat or something. Come on. NIL deal.
Yeah, that's right. Well, she's got to be in college, I think, for that. But
Likes and images. No, I think you could just pay anybody.
can you?
right? I don't
Okay.
know. I have no
It's a
clue how
brave
that
new
works.
world in sports.
I don't know
yeah.
how that works. We'll give her a little patch, a sticker for her bag or something.
There you go.
Congrats, Sophia. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to be a process of, or part of the process of.
Yeah. Now, least favorite or worst?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think there's a lesson that comes to mind where the person just didn't want to listen. Whatever I said, they just wanted to say their own thing. And that's, for me, I think the most frustrating type of lesson, where I have something to offer, I can help them, and they just want to tell me what they saw on YouTube and ask me if that's what they should be working on. And I would say that's probably my least favorite type of lesson to work on.
Yeah. Sounds like some third graders that I have.
There you go. That YouTube,
right?
Makes a bunch of experts out of everybody, right?
Yeah. Actually, speaking of which, this is the first year in 20 years I had a student say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" A YouTuber. And I was like, come on. Back in the day, I used to get astronaut, president.
Right.
Kids want to be a YouTuber now.
They make a lot of money.
Or you got kids making money playing Fortnite on videos.
Oh,
Or when
I
they're
know.
not playing Fortnite, they're watching people play Fortnite.
I know the streaming. I don't understand
Oh,
the
my
streaming.
goodness, what's going on?
But I missed that window by about 10 years because I would have been on it, you know? I played a lot of video games when I was a kid. I didn't make any money doing it.
Now it's esports too, actually. It's a high school sport.
I know.
Video games. Unbelievable.
College sports.
It's college too? Oh, boy. I missed that window.
I know.
No, it's great. Great. Good stuff. All right. Your parents are here. Bill and
Yes,
Michelle,
they are.
how you doing?
Good, thanks.
I know they're your parents, but we talked about being a good friend. You know, what are some good quality traits that the parents have here? Being a good friend. We're putting you on the spot.
Yeah. Well, so I think my dad is a really just genuinely nice person, very caring. Anyone who meets him will say that about him. Just he kind of gives off this warm vibe. He's willing to talk to you. He's understanding. My mom is very much like that, very loving, very caring, same kind of deal. And she goes out of her way to keep her connections going. I've never met a person that will talk on the phone with her friends or communicate with people and just continue to bridge those gaps. So I've just, learned how to keep those friendships going, and then also how to be a good friend while you're there
Yeah.
too, and be a good combination of that.
Yeah, that makes me very happy. You got a good kid right here. And also check in on your friends. Calling. That makes me think
Yes.
about that because, times are tough and people are going through challenges. Everyone has an invisible backpack. You're walking around, they're carrying a lot of luggage. You don't see it, but it's there. It's weighing them down, it's stressing them out. So you never know. You want to check in with your friends, see how they're doing, and be a good listener and check in. You either, and text messages are a little more impersonal, so the phone call is important, right? Phone call. Call your friend. I also say handwritten notes. Write a note, mail a letter. It's missing this day and age. Like, everyone gets texts and emails, but that handwritten note so I try to do that too.
Plus, it's nice to get a letter that isn't a bill or
Right.
something crappy that you don't want. Yeah.
Some people, they're so used to getting bills that letters, they're overlooked. And when you finally get one, you're like, look at that. Pretty cool. You want to eat the cake now or later? Maybe later.
Yeah, let's eat it
Make
later.
a mess. But thank you for everything. Thank you again. Oh, the 100th podcast. So this is 103. 100, we had Javier Colon, golfer. You ever golf with him?
I have not. No. Got to set it up.
Yeah. Frank Whaley, Pulp Fiction, Field of Dreams, great guy. Friends of Frank. 101, Rinku. You ever go to South Main Wine and Spirits up here next to Dunkin' Donuts?
I have not.
Rinku, Sharista, great guy. 101, check it out.
I will.
And then 102, you heard of Frank the Tank?
Oh yeah. Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank, Frank Earl Fleming from Barstool Sports.
That guy's a legend.
He's a legend. So we were doing hot dogs yesterday. Do you like hot dogs?
I do, just not with mayonnaise.
Whoa. Well done. Well done. Frank's going to like you. If a hot dog, Frank said mayonnaise is a food repellent,
Agreed.
right?
I am not a mayonnaise guy at all.
Ever?
Never.
Yeah, I know. They had a nice one, pulled pork with beans and coleslaw. He's like, I'm going to eat around the coleslaw. He goes, I'm going to pretend this coleslaw is not on this. I'm like, why is that, Frank? Because there's mayonnaise. Yeah, he struck out a hot dog because they had mayonnaise. It was funny. Great time yesterday. Just shout out the 102nd podcast. We were at Parkville Market. Thank you, Parkville Market. Carlos Mota's a former guest. I think he was episode 63. Go back and check it out. I want to thank Martin Rosel's Meats. They sponsored. They were the presenting sponsor. They donated all the hot dogs for the vendors, and they gave first 50 people signed up to get a Frank the Tank autograph got wiener water. Look at that wiener water. It's
Looks delicious.
It's so good. Wiener water made by
Ugh.
Avery's over also in New Britain. So Martin Russell's been in the community for 97. We're going to do a podcast there. We're going to talk, and they're going to give me a tour of the hot dog factory. Just like later today, we're going to talk, and he's going to give me a lesson. So stick around. I've gotten a haircut on the podcast. I've done, what else? We made pizza with Vulgar Chef. He made like a pizza sandwich. He's not a fan of Pepe's either. It was pretty funny. What else did we do? Yeah, I'll think of it. But we had some good times on the podcast. We're on 103. We're here with Dave Souza. Souza. With a Z.
With a Z.
All
Portuguese
right.
Smith.
Portuguese. That came in third place. PDPDQ. They did a Portuguese roll, butterfly cut with kibasi and hot dogs on it with chips. They came in third place. We made plaques. They had a little Feeney logo, Barstool logo, Martin Russell's, and Parkville Market. So everyone displayed it. Someone made their screen already that it's 8.5 with the Barstool sign that they scored them, and they're going to sell it continuously. They're not taking it off the menu. They made it for this contest, and they're keeping it on. Pretty cool, right?
So you've got your own hot dog?
Not me. PDP.
PDP, okay.
Their third place winner, and they all put them on. Mercado 27 won. She was practically in tears. It was like she won an Academy Award. It was amazing to see.
Yeah.
She's like, I love what I do. I appreciate this so much. Everything I cook, I put in with love. And she was like, I'm like, damn.
That's who you want to win, right?
It was amazing.
That's the kind of passion that you want to have as a winner.
Yeah, it was so cool to see. So it was such an honor to number one, hang out with Frank the Tank. The guy's a social media sensation. He has over 500,000 followers on, Instagram and all those stuff. Just crazy.
Yeah, he's hysterical.
Yeah, Friends of Frank. Oh, we got to get you. Friends of Frank. So we had these shirts, Friends of Frank. Same logo as Friends of Feeney. People bought them. He signed them, autographed them. It was pretty cool. And then Saturday, we had a great day. We marched in the Park Road. The St. Patrick's Day Parade.
I'm glad the weather held off for you.
It was great. We had a window.
Bad. Yeah.
It poured like immediately, maybe like 5 p.m. It started pouring. But we marched with about 70 kids and their parents. We earned second place. So we earned second place in 2019 for our float, and we just earned second place for 2024. We're honored.
Congrats.
The Celtic Committee, the Central Celtic Committee, and we continue to lose to these telephone company that build telephone poles and put the guys and strap them in. Every year. Come on, guys, switch it up or change it up just because they put.
Got to go bigger.
So you know what we're going to do? I'm going to zip line back and forth or do
slack line.
What's that called when you swing and flip and catch each other?
Oh, trapeze.
Trapeze. Yeah, trapeze. You think I got that? No net, just going out dressed as a leprechaun?
Yeah, like moving on a cart or
Yeah.
moving. Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
So we're doing that. I can't wait. No, we had Rise Up murals. They did the beautiful mural with the mason jar and the butterflies on 84 right by the yard goats.
Yep. On the hotel.
On the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
They made our shamrocks. So it said Friends of Feeney, a wooden shamrock, painted, beautiful. So thank you, Rise Up. Thank you, Matt Conway. And then Pink Flamingo. Our friends at Pink Flamingo put together this beautiful arrangement of balloons.
That's an awesome store. If you've
Right?
never been, it's right in West Hartford Center. They've got a lot of party stuff that you need. Really,
Yeah.
really cool creative stuff. Yeah.
Very cool. Luna Pizza. You like Luna Pizza?
I do. I have a box in my refrigerator from leftovers. I get it probably once a week. So I'm a regular Luna guy.
All right. That's good to know. That's where we podcast sometimes. Alex is a good friend.
Oh, you should have told me. I would have had it there.
We can't do the golf lesson there. We'll get pizza delivered, actually.
Yeah, sounds good.
That's episode 70. I do a pizza review like Dave Portnoy, too. It was pretty good. And then we cooked pizza. Did I mention that? We cooked pizza after the special podcast. I made the dough. I put the mozzarella out. I brought it home for the kids. They liked it. I tricked them. They didn't tell them who it was from. I said, how's the pizza? Is it good? I was like, I made that. They're like, get out of here.
Did the reaction change after you said
Yeah, they're like,
that?
spit it out. So speaking of restaurants, do you have a favorite restaurant?
Ooh.
Follow-up question, too.
So Gosh, that's a tough
Putting
one.
you on the spot in West
are.
Hartford. It doesn't have to be West Hartford.
Sure. I think probably my favorite restaurant is Treva in the center.
Oh, yep.
And if I'm gonna go to something a little more casual, probably Max Burger
Nice.
are my two spots to go.
What's your meal at Treva?
I
Or Max Burger. What's your burger?
I just like the classic.
Wow.
Yep. I'm kind of
Okay.
plain.
Okay.
So-
Okay. I like the jalapeno burger. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Spicy.
Yes. And then Treva. It's been a while, but some sort of like pasta plate,
Yeah.
right?
I'm kind
You
of
know-
picky with my pasta.
That's
so.
a veer backwards. Did you know that?
I did. I think Treva was first though, wasn't it?
Right? I'm not.
So I think
Yeah.
Avert is Treva backwards.
And they also own Doro.
They do.
Scott Miller, also a guest on the podcast. Scott Miller also donates the breakfast sandwiches at the golf tournament from Doro. They're phenomenal. He also sponsored the food at the 100th podcast. Did you try that food?
I did.
Were
It
you
was
eating?
good.
Pretty good, right?
It was.
So, Scott, you're a good friend. Treva. So, you're at Treva. You can eat with 4 guests, dead or alive. Who you eating with? Anybody in the world.
Ooh. Tiger Woods is one.
Tiger Woods, y'all.
Yeah.
Does he have to wear his red polo?
He doesn't have to wear the red polo.
Okay.
But just keep the Waffle House people at home. Man, that's a tough one. Probably Paul McCartney, just because he'd probably have some cool stories.
Okay. Sir Paul.
Sir Paul and God, all time. Probably Abraham Lincoln.
Okay. All right. Well, you get one more. So it's you and 4.
Oh, me and 4.
And I love everyone does this. I swear they're like, I got to get an athlete, I got to get a singer, a politician. I thought you
You've
would
got to
go-
cover all the bases. Yeah, probably old Tom Morris, another golfer. I want to know what it was like back then.
He developed and made a lot of courses.
He did.
Man, I wish Mark Moriarty knows all about old Tom Morris. That's so funny that you mentioned that.
Yep.
Old Tom Morris.
He's like the original
What's
golfer.
his son's name?
Young Tom Morris.
Oh, that's
Which one
hilarious.
died first?
Stop. Young? Young didn't go first, did he?
He did.
Oh, that's awful.
It is.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. I guess not
Fun
so
fact.
fun, but
Who died
yeah.
first? Fun fact. So when you hear fun fact, it's not really
Not-
going to be the funnest.
Something dark is coming. Something not so fun.
Hit that with Neela next time you see her.
I will.
You have any recommendations? We're reading books, podcasts, movies, recommendations.
Ooh. I mean, I just finished up Griselda on Netflix, which was intense if you're into that kind of genre.
Yeah. Who's in that? What's that about?
So Sofia Vergara
Yes.
is in it, and she plays this cocaine dealer. So she leaves Colombia, she goes to Miami. It's based on a true story. Kind of works her way up, deals with all of these sketchy people, and it's just an interesting premise of the story that you've seen before. You know, it's Scarface and all of those other stories, but it's with a woman perspective. So she has to kind of go extra and try to make her way, you know, even harder than some of the guys. So
Oh,
it
cool.
was interesting.
Movie or series?
It's a series.
And it's done already?
It's done.
How many seasons? How many episodes?
Just one season.
Oh, see, I like
I don't
that.
think they're going anywhere with it because
I like when there's closure. Well,
Yeah.
So you already spoiled it. Thanks. Thanks. Now I know how it ends.
Spoiler
Mark.
alert.
That spoil. Fun fact. She dies. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Does she?
I'm not going to say. I'm not going to spoil it that much. But it's pretty good. It's dark. It's violent. It's got a lot of killing and drugs. But if you're into that, it's definitely interesting.
Hey, I'm in. Let's do it.
There's also Full Swing, which I must have to say. So that's the golf
Shocker.
documentary, right?
Shocker.
Yeah.
You
So
like that? You watch that?
I've
Season
gotten into
2
it
right now.
Season
right?
2 is actually a lot better than the first season, I
Okay.
think. So I think if you're a non-golfer, the first season was enough. If you're a golfer, you wanted a little bit more of how the guys are feeling about the situation with Liv and
Yeah.
the divide. And I think it does a good job of giving you that context.
How many episodes is that one?
So I've only gone through 3, and I think it's got at least 10 or 11. So it's it's a decent run. It's a second season, so that's worth checking out.
Okay. Yeah, my fantasy football group, they're talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Big heavy on Brooks, right? The first season, or no?
They focused on about 8 golfers, so each golfer had their own episode almost, and it told their season through that episode.
Got it.
So Brooks was one of the players that they focused on.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I like Brooks. He's pretty jacked up.
He is.
And he's a sneaker guy.
He is, and he's a Florida State guy.
Ah, boy.
See.
I like Notre Dame.
That's okay.
I still remember when Charlie Ward beat us. That was my heyday. And then someone missed a field goal in like 1992. It might have been Notre Dame that could have won it, and they missed a field goal. I remember that. And then Charlie Ward.
And then he went on to play in the NBA.
I'm a Knicks fan, so then I was like, oh,
Then you liked
now
him.
I like Charlie
Yeah.
Ward. The best at one point, he was the best quarterback in New York because Vinny Testaverde played for the Jets, and like Kent Graham was the quarterback of the Giants. And we get a Heisman winner playing who?
Playing basketball.
He was the best quarterback in New York playing for the Knicks.
Do you think the Giants ever reached out to the Knicks and were like, hey, can we?
We'll trade you. We'll trade you Lawrence Taylor's jersey. I don't know. All right, so speaking sports, start, sit, bench. You got to start, sit, or bench your teams. Patriots, Celtics, FSU. Who you starting, who you sitting, and who you benching. Where you ranking your teams?
Ooh. So right now, I'm starting the Celtics. Was that one of the options? Yep. Starting the Celtics. Sitting probably Florida State and benching the Patriots.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
They had a pretty bad season last year, and
one of their worst seasons.
One of the worst seasons. I'm a huge Patriots fan. I'm going to watch every game still, but the product was pretty bad. So I turned off a couple games and, kind of had to move on. So
yeah, I'm a Giants fan, so this season was wonderful. The Giants were terrible, but the Patriots were that much more terrible, so it made it feel everything better.
And you won one more game than us.
Right?
So you got crushed in the draft stock.
But what's up with Mac Jones? Why did they traded him? And number one, the Jaguars don't need him because they have Trevor. It was a weird move. How did that and why did that happen?
Yeah, so if you want a conspiracy theory on this one.
Go.
So
I like conspiracy
yeah,
theories.
so the word is that they were resetting the trade market for Justin Fields. So by trading Mac Jones for something pretty crappy pick, that all of a sudden Justin Fields' market isn't a second round pick, maybe it's a third or a fourth round pick. And so they might be in on trying to trade for him for a lower pick.
Okay.
So that's my conspiracy theory for you.
I like it. He's my quarterback for fantasy football as a keeper, so I got him for like 2 more years. So I need him on a good team.
You do.
And
I don't know if the Patriots would qualify for that, though.
Yeah, true. But he scores like 10 points, but then he'll have a 50-point game because he'll run for like 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Justin Fields, like him. Patriots don't like him.
Patriots are benched right now.
Benched. What about FSU? Now, you like them for everything? College hoop, basketball?
I do, yeah. I'm mostly a bigger football fan than anything, but I do like the basketball team. They always drive me crazy because they look good in the regular season, then they just don't do anything in the tournament. The coach is a great recruiter, but he doesn't ever win a lot of games during the season. They've had, I think, one 20-win season, and he just never develops the talent. So, I know what to expect from them. They're going to be good. They're going to get blue-chip players, but just let you down in the playoffs. So.
And then when you're not golfing, skiing, photography, and cooking. We're not going to start, sit, bench, but what do you like to, what are you taking pictures of?
So I like to take pictures of nature mostly.
Gotcha.
So sunsets, flowers, animals, cool scenery.
Camera?
I do have a nice camera. One of my Christmas gifts one year was a nice Sony mirrorless camera. And I've just tried to learn how to use all the different features of it. I like learning the ins and outs of different things. So learning what the f-stop does, the ISO, all of the different parts of the camera, and how to make an image come out the way that you want it to. It's a fun process.
Nice.
So, yep.
Very cool. And then what are you cooking?
Oh, I'm simple things. I'm not a complicated cook, but my wife and I, we did a cooking class, went on our honeymoon. And we did just simple Italian food. We were in Positano and just learned how to make, the right gravy, as they called it, or the right sauce.
Yep.
So what you're supposed to put in it, what you're not supposed to put in it. So I like cooking Italian food because you just need good ingredients, not a whole lot of process, and it comes out really tasty.
Nice.
Yep.
Big fan of HelloFresh. HelloFresh, it comes in a bag. It's like Legos. All your ingredients go right here.
Yeah.
By pictures. It's amazing.
Still counts as cooking,
right?
too, right?
I'm like, come on, kids. I worked hard on this dinner. Get down here and eat before it gets too cold. I got to drop all those lines. I cook once a week. I cooked Saturday night. It was not that good. It was like sweet potato quesadillas. Sweet potato quesadillas.
All right. That sounds interesting.
I didn't like fry the quesadillas enough, and then I looked over and I had like maybe I shouldn't, but so much leftover cheese and onions that I forgot to put. I don't know. I skipped a step. I don't know. But the kids ate it, and I brought it in for lunch today, and I opened it up. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, who made this? Oh, that's right. It was me. But
In a good way or a bad way?
it was a mess. I think maybe ultimately I think my Tupperware turned, so all the quesadillas fell out, and it was just like ingredients and quesadilla. It was just a mess. So
It was a deconstructed quesadilla.
yes. So big cooking. So you've been to Italy.
I have.
How long you been married?
8 years, going up on to 8 years.
Nice.
Yep.
Does your wife golf?
She does.
Nice.
Yep. She likes to golf. She's pretty new to it. She got into it, when we were together. So she's good enough that she can hit, her driver close to 200 yards. She can hit her 7-iron close to 150. So she can play when she wants to. Just doesn't always want to play. That's the main thing.
Yeah, my wife really likes it, and then like a couple bad shots, she like gets frustrated. She's a big basketball player.
It's like my wife.
Wants to be successful, and then got to overcome, got to persevere.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing with this game is, athletes tend to gravitate to it in their older age, and then they get frustrated by it and leave it pretty quickly because they're not instantly good at it. And it is a sport that it doesn't translate right away to your athleticism. You have to learn the proper technique, a lot of different skill sets, almost like a decathlete. You got to putt, you've got to chip, you've got to hit a full swing, you've got to drive. So there's a lot of different skills that you have to learn, and sometimes the athlete just doesn't want to pick it up.
Yeah.
And that's pretty common, I would say, that you expect this level of athleticism and proficiency, and you're just not there.
Oh, it's challenging.
Yep.
Especially when you change my swing after since I was 11 years old, shifting back and going forward. Now I keep all my weight on my left foot. Dip the shoulder, right, Bill?
That's right.
And I talk to friends, and they're doing it that way too. It's not just me,
They must be students.
all right?
No, that's
And
the right
keep
way
your
to
head
play.
straight
Yep.
and weight on the front foot.
Exactly. So the paradigm has shifted in the sport.
Yeah.
Just kind of like Dick Fosbury with the Fosbury flop or whatever. Fosbury.
Is that the guy who jumped the high bar?
Yeah, the high bar, and he learned how to do it backwards. So everyone used to laugh at him for doing it that way, and then he beat everybody. And now everyone does it that way. So it's the same thing in the golf instruction field.
That's in a book or a movie or a documentary, I think. Fosbury flop.
Mm-hmm. So it's, there's a lot of that in sports where, someone does
Steph
something a
Curry.
little differently. Right, Steph Curry shooting from
Shooting
all
from-
over the place, right?
He's shooting from farther. Now all the kids want to
Sure.
shoot from farther.
Sure. I mean, you can go back to Dirk Nowitzki, 7-footer shooting 3-pointers. Yeah, there's been people that have changed the game, in a unique way, and then other people follow them.
Yeah.
So now every 7-footer shoots a 3-pointer, when it used to be
Now
the
they're like
duck.
7'5" shooting
Right.
pointers.
Right.
Wemby.
Exactly. When
And we're gonna see my weight shifting and my head keeping straight. We'll maybe show the video. And is this gonna count as one of my lessons? You gonna
no,
charge me
we'll,
for
we'll
this?
comp this one. How about
Oh,
that?
Thanks. Dave. You're a good friend, Dave.
I
Did ever
appreciate
tell
that.
you
I
You're
try.
a good friend.
I try. All I have to do is give you free lessons.
Oh, speaking of which, I have a recommendation. This is the inner game of tennis. So I'm right here. You ever read this? I mean, it's been out since like the 70s. Over 1 million copies sold. But working with you, there's a Post-it note right here. I put the inner game of riflery for my daughter, because riflery, tennis, and golf are very mental. And this helps you public speaking, try to get a job, setting goals. Like, it works for every sport. It's pretty cool.
Do they have a skiing book like that too?
I'm not exactly sure, but
Okay.
you have your self 1 and your self 2. And the self-talk is very important. Like on the golf, I do it all the time. I'm so guilty. Like, you're terrible. Be better. Oh, you're awful. You stink. That affects you. Like, move on. That's a bad shot. It's not you personally. It's just one shot.
Sure.
You can hit the same shot multiple times and get a different result. Whatever. So just move on.
Exactly.
So self-talk is important.
Yep.
I make notes too because I want my kid to read it next. Oh, then I like GOLFTEC page. Look at that note right there. Starred GOLFTEC page 23.
What's special about that one?
So reflection, and I said reflection equals the GOLFTEC video. This one, he had the person swinging the swing in the mirror, old school. This is like, again, the 70s, and I'm like, it really correlated with how you play back the video, and you don't congratulate yourself for doing it right, just how it felt. They were saying that. I said that's my new swing. I'm like, just it feels different. Don't worry about the result just yet. It'll come, And then I'm like, be relaxed. Don't dwell on bad shots. Move on. These are my notes.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Squeeze
all...
the trigger. Oh, that's my daughter thing. For good luck, I always say squeeze the trigger because riflery.
You don't want to.
If you pull, it'll pop the gun up, and you want to do it in between your breaths. So, and not a full exhale because your chest rising and lowering when you're laying prone will raise the gun up and down. So you want to have the same spot every time you squeeze. You got to do that 20 times prone, 20 times standing, 20 times kneeling, and you want to do the same thing like a machine. So golf, very similar. You want to be a machine.
You do.
Down to the breathing for riflery.
I mean, some golfers have like a breathing trigger for their backswing where they inhale and then exhale, and on the exhale they'll start going back.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that in golf too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the main thing that you hit on was being able to move on from a bad shot. If you watch good players, they hit a bad shot, they might show some frustration, but eventually they go back to their kind of stoic look. You see high handicappers through the next 3 or 4 holes just fuming about what they've done. And I also think that there's just not an acknowledgement of you're going to hit bad shots, and good players know that. Bad players don't expect to. And then when they do, they're really frustrated by it. Good players know it's going to happen. So.
And then you don't want the wheels to fall off the bus.
Right.
Because once the wheels fall off the bus, it's over. Yeah, I just wrote think of this book as the inner game of riflery. You got the inner versus the outer, the self 1 versus self 2, external versus internal. Focus on your mind to overcome nervousness, self-doubt, distractions. Build skills by smart practice. We do that. This book will improve your performance. I look forward to reading it with you. She hasn't read it yet because I'm only on page 41. And then January, I set a goal. That's another thing. Set a goal. Don't hey, I'm going to read a chapter a night. That's not a reachable goal. So I'm trying to read for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Very easy goal. First week, killed it. And again, like a week goes by and I'm like, I couldn't even get 10 minutes. I set a goal. It was like my New Year's resolution. Challenging. I wanted to do 50 squats, 50 push-ups, and read 10 minutes a day. So I got to go back to that. I'm only on page 41. And it's such an easy read. Tom Brady reads this. Did I mention that? Before every season.
Is it?
During the March Madness, they showed a college team. I think it was last year. In the stands, you know how they get in early while another team's playing because they play in the same arena? Mm-hmm. The whole team was reading this. I forgot what team. You could look it up. The whole team was reading it, and they mentioned it on the broadcast. So it's a great book. Totally suggest to everyone to read it. You should definitely read it as a coach, too.
I will. I've heard.
Read it.
I read it in the 70s.
Bill read it. Bill, you recommend it too?
Absolutely.
Recommendation comes from Bill, too. Friends of Bill. Buddies of Bill. Ooh, we could start your own little organization. Buds of Bill. Marcia McCurdy Adele. She was episode 69. She's the deputy fire marshal. She won the swing analysis at the 100th podcast.
Oh, she did?
Stoked, thrilled, really looking forward to it. I tried to get her to surprise visit, but she was busy today. but she's really excited. Again, deputy fire marshal, my student's mother. So she's excited. She
Great.
wanted to thank you.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to it.
Me too.
So Marcia, you're going to hopefully work with Dave or another wonderful coach here. How many coaches are here?
So we have 7 coaches, including myself. So
Why don't
6
you give them a
others.
shout out? Who we got here?
So we have John.
It's a fun fact of everyone too. I'm kidding.
We have John, we have Troy, we have Kevin, we have Richard, and we have Joe, and we have Matt. So those
Nice.
are the 6 coaches that we have.
Can you start, sit, and bench them? Start, sit, and bench them. No, I'm kidding.
I cannot. Starting them all.
You're on the bench.
No, we have a good team. That's one of the reasons why we're able to keep growing, and we've been around for 7 years. They teach good lessons. They listen. They take care of their students, and they know how to get better. So they're listening to me. They're always looking for new information, and it's a great squad.
Good squad. Good peeps. Good friends. And did Bill have something to do with this place?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He and I went into business together. So
Gotcha.
my dad is an ESPN employee, former ESPN employee.
No way. The mothership?
The mothership, and on his way out, he was looking for something to do more with his time. I was working for GOLFTEC up in Boston, and we came together and said, why don't we try to do something in West Hartford? This town would like it. It kind of needs something like this, and we thought it would do well. So we partnered up together, and 7 years later, here we are.
Bill. You want to share something about Dave? Come on. Michelle, come on. Get a little mic time. Or holler from over here.
No, it's proud to see him take this business and do what he's done with it. He's built it into something much bigger than I ever thought it would be. So I'm proud of him.
Proud of you. Good job, son. You guys gonna hug it out on camera?
Thanks, Dad.
All right, so stick around. We're gonna get into my swing. You can see his wonderful coaching strategies and techniques. And being a teacher, again, I really enjoy his lessons. I might not be the best student. I'm working on that self-talk and that perseverance.
You're doing great.
See?
You're doing great.
Compliments.
Just got to show up. That's the main thing.
Been a little busy,
Yep.
but we're back.
Yep.
Yeah, stick around. 103, Golfing with Friends. Feeney Golfs with Friends. Episode 103. 1, 2, 3. Be a good friend.
Yeah, so we're just letting you warm up a little bit. Ready to go?
You're going to review where we left off, or are we just going to cut into it? What are we doing?
Yeah, let me take a look.
Golfing with Feeney. Friends and Dave.
All right, so let's look at our notes from last lesson. So we have arch the back more at the end. We're going to tilt a little bit more to the right and bring that right shoulder down under the chin at impact. So those are our keys for the swing, or at least last lesson it was.
Yeah.
So what we have here is on the skeleton, that's the optimotion. So that's what's measuring your joints. It's giving us our numbers. So your turns, your tilts, your sways, your bends.
Very cool.
And then once you hit a shot, we'll get some color coding to go along with the numbers. So we'll be able to see where you stack up relative to the tour average.
We're average. All right, ready. First one in a while.
All right. So after the shot, we like to diagnose it. So figure out what happened. Was that well struck? Was it not well struck? Did it go right? Did it go left? Did it curve right? Did it curve left? So that one sounded like you hit the ground a little early. It's going to curve a little bit to the left. Let's see how you did here. So the number we were working on at the end was your forward bend. So you can see it's coming up red. That's that arching the back that we want to try to work on. So you can see, yep, the chest is facing a little bit more down to the ground. If we look at a touring pro, you'll see that their back gets a little more arched. And see that how his chest is pointing upwards like that? Yep. And so his hips are more forward than his shoulders, and that would help him create that bending. So we need to get your hips a little bit more out to the target. Other way. There you go. Good. Towards the target.
And this way.
Yep. And tilted. So take a practice swing and feel that. Yeah. So you want to turn towards the target, and you want to feel, yep, lift up your right heel. That'll help. There you go, and turn. There you go. Good. Yep. So try to take a practice swing feeling like that right heel lifts up and your hips go towards the target. There you go. Yeah, one more practice. Try to hold on to the club.
The world's watching. The world, all my subscribers, please subscribe if you haven't. Feeney Talks with Friends. Excited to be here. GOLFTEC, episode 103.
There you go. That was much better. So let's see what that bend number got to. Let's see what your bend got to here. So that's a little bit better. You can see you're 3 forward now instead of 8. So that's getting better. Our goal is to go backwards, so we want the chest to go more up into the sky. Yep.
All right, ready. Back to the sky.
Oh, there you go.
I was late with the bend, but over dramatic. But that was on my mind.
It was late. Yep. But you did a better job of getting that arch. Let's see what the number comes up to here. So 2. Getting better.
What's the goal?
The goal is to go past the 0. So forward is your chest is facing down. So what we need is your chest to actually face up a little bit at that point, above the horizon line. There you go.
Good strike.
That was a good strike. Come on, arch.
Come on,
Arch. Still a little bit forward. Yep, 10 forward.
arch that back.
So let's try one more where you're feeling like your hip gets a little bit left of your shoulders first. So you kind of bump your hips out to the left. Yep.
First.
Mm-hmm.
In the backswing?
Nope, just at the beginning of the swing.
Or just to start?
Mm-hmm.
Start with it up.
Start with your hip a little bit out. So preset those hips left, and then feel like your chest points up. Sounded really good.
Yeah, pointing that hip out first helps.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling better, feeling better.
Good. So that got you to 1 back.
Okay.
That's what we want to see. So then what we can do is we can compare.
First strike.
First one with that one. So you can see your chest is more up. See how your chest is facing more up?
Yeah. Look more athletic here too.
Yeah. Your hips are getting more towards the target. Kind of pulling more under you instead of staying back. Looks good. It's a good change. Want to do one more?
One more. This is just, a very good snippet. We do a half an hour typically, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll usually do in a half an hour, focusing on one thing, maybe picking different ways to get there to change it, different routes to get that chest to arch backwards for you. That would help.
There you go. There you go. 1 degree back again.
1 degree.
So we're getting there. So what's happening is your hips are getting more forward than your shoulders, and that's helping your upper body arch a little bit.
Yeah.
That looks great.
That was awesome.
Nice job today.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
You got it.
We went from like plus, what, 10 to negative
Yep.
1?
Yep. So plus 10 to -1. The goal is positive or -5 in your book. So we're getting closer, and you can see you hit a green number, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to hit all the green numbers we can within what the player is physically capable of. So, shot, man.
Thank you. Thank you for being a sponsor for our golf tournament.
Absolutely.
Thank you for donating Swing Analysis. Thank you for your patience and your content knowledge is really strong, and we appreciate all your help. This is Dave Souza from GOLFTEC on New Britain Avenue, 860-222-2299. Great number. Come check them out. They're doing a special. Be a good friend is the promo code. I just made that up. Don't really do that, but yeah, we taught lessons. We hit. We celebrated the 7th year anniversary here at GOLFTEC. Bill's birthday. Happy birthday, 71. We're gonna go have some cake. It's gonna be great. We met Michelle, Mom. Call your friends. Check in on your friends. Any closing remarks?
No, just thank you. Thanks, Friends of Feeney, for doing everything you guys do in the community. It's an amazing organization, and just happy to be, a partner of you and a good friend of yours. So, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, let's say be a good friend on 3 again. 1, 2, 3.
Be a good friend.